Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. This is Metatron speaking. I'm going to be talking to you today about how opportunities or how spiritual growth or how kind of new spiritual journeys develop. I know that sounds kind of like a big thing, but I just want to show you how opportunities are presented to me and how I approach those and how those end up being. How those come to fruition, what that looks like at the end. So I'm going to kind of try to take you through the whole thing. If you saw one of my earlier videos, I think it was like 2 videos ago, um, I had pulled some oracle cards, and one set of them, I should probably pull up my notes. One set of them was from Raw, and it was talking about Egyptian light codes because I was all excited because I was like, oh, have I been getting Egyptian? Am I going to get Egyptian light codes in my dreams? Let me pull it up. Let me make sure I'm saying it correctly. So I put notes in here. And of course, it always is difficult to find the right. There it is. You've been downloading. This is what Ross said. You've been downloading Egyptian light codes for a few days now. That's the energy coming out of your palms when you work with me to send out energy. Because remember, I'd been talking to you guys about I was like doing energy healing with my hands, and sometimes I'm doing it for a client. Most of the time I've been doing it like just for my family members on a daily basis and myself. And Raw started entering my energy during this time, and I've been able to like hear normally like orchestra music. It's sometimes like orchestra, and it's sometimes like piano music with some kind of string music behind it. So I've been able to hear it. Sometimes I'm able to see things, and he's been moving my hands in very like uh strange rhythmic ways that I don't normally do a lot of movement during a healing. So it's been a different experience. So I had that start happening. So that was truly the first offering. That was basically no, actually I take that back. Let's do the notes. Let's do the notes. I have so many notes for so many things I want to talk to you guys about. I didn't make videos. I mean, I made one the other day that I put out to you guys, but other than that, I really haven't made many videos for several days. And like the information just keeps coming in, so it's just like overly piled up in my lovely phone. Okay. So, how new pathways are formed on your spiritual journey is what he wants me to call this. So, step 1, initiation. Step 1, this is how it works for me. I'm not saying this is the only way it can work. This is not the only way it can work. This is how I do it, just so you know. Step 1 is like initiation. Say what you want. So, uh, last year, man, I'm going to start getting my timelines messed up because I spend too much time channeling. And when you're channeling, it's the same sort of feeling um, as like a dream state. And so there's no time, and time kind of starts blurring. Anyways, I think it was last year that I asked to start channeling. I wanted to be able to channel. And so that was the initiation. I want to channel. And then I had to take these other steps for it to finally come to be. I'm going to give you an example of something right now, though, so that you can see how this has worked out. So, and I mentioned this in one of my videos and also on Medium if you read on Medium. So, the situation was that I was processing trauma, and I was emotional, and I was sad, and my silver manted guide Arlo had come to me, and he was trying to heal me up, and I was also talking to Metatron. And so through this exchange, um, I basically kind of challenged Metatron at the end because I have all these emotions, of sadness and pain, and I don't want to think about those. I rather think about work or something fun. So I'm like talking to Metatron, and I was like, you know, I want to see how far you can take this. And he's like, no, it's how far you can take this. And when we were saying that, it was like, Metatron, I want to see how far you can take my life path, is really what I was saying. I was saying, I want to see how interesting and how creative and how big you can make my life path. And he's like, no, this isn't me. This is you. Like, how far can you take it? So he pushed it back on me. And so let me see if I can find the wording. I don't know if I wrote it down. I said, give me impossible opportunities and I will take them. So the way I worded it was strange. Most people don't speak like that, but I do. So I don't speak very clearly to Metatron because he can read my thoughts. He knows what I'm saying. So the same thing is true with you. So your words don't matter. It's your intention that your guides and the universe understand from you. So when I was asking for this like big new impossible opportunity, I meant give me something I don't deserve that's just big, that's just mind blowing. That's what I meant. And he's given me things before that felt very undeserved and very big. And so I know he can continue to do that. And so that's what I was asking for from him. So, step one, say what you want. And I was like, send me something big. So, a couple days, I have to ask. And he's saying yes. Was it like less than a week? No, more than a week. Okay, between 1 week and 2 weeks later is when my hands started. Was it even that long? I don't even think it was that long. Whatever. He's saying it was a matter of days later that he started entering into my energy and giving off those light codes through my hands. Now, that's not what I knew that it was at the time. At the time, I was like, this is strange. And I was kind of curious about it. And I wasn't opposed to it. And I was just kind of observing it and trying to figure it out. Um, so it's kind of that openness, that curiosity that allows you to also experience these things. Now, if he had done that and I had panicked, if I had gone, "Oh, I don't like this. It's too weird. It's too different. I don't want you controlling my hands," or whatever the case may be. If I had given resistance, he would have stopped doing that and he would have never done it again. And he would have understood that this is not the way she wants to take this. And so he would have closed that off. But because I was open to it and I was curious, he's like, okay, well, let's keep going with this. So, step two, your guides will make you an offer. And so, part of my offer, my test run offer was raw entering my energy to see how I responded. He's like, okay, she didn't freak out. All right, let's make part two of this offer and see how she does. So this can come in a lot of different forms. For me, and it's funny because you would think I would just magically like channel whatever offer it is they're giving me. And sometimes I do, but that's not the easiest, fastest way for me, to be honest, because I have a little bit of mental block on my own pathway. It's the same way that if you're like using a pendulum and you're asking a question that's really um, emotional, that you're really invested in the answer, it's entirely possible for you to accidentally manipulate the outcome of that answer because you want it to be a certain way, and so that energy is interfering with the natural flow. So it's hard for me to channel stuff about myself like that because my own ego can get in the way sometimes. So I pull oracle cards because my ego can't get in the way of oracle cards. And normally, when these offers are made to us, doesn't you don't have to get the messages through oracle cards, but man, it helps. It might just be something where you start coming across certain people or certain websites or certain services or certain articles, um, whatever it is that kind of guides you to the next step. Like maybe you're like, man, I really want guides, I really want help, I really want to start off on a new journey, something fun. And maybe you just start seeing things about Reiki everywhere. Everyone's talking about it. This person, that person. You're seeing an advertisement for like a Reiki training. And so that's the universe saying, does this sound interesting to you? And you can either be like, that sounds kind of interesting. And it's your willpower that's needed to go, yes, that's interesting. And you know what? I'm going to sign up for that class. And so that's you saying yes to the opportunity. Or you can look at it and go, nah, I don't think that's really right for me. And then the universe goes, okay. And something else will start coming around instead. Now, if you say no to everything, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have that problem because I actually tend to say yes to everything. But okay, so your guides make you an offer. It normally involves multiple choices. I use oracle cards. I want to show you my offer. So I pulled oracle cards and he was super subtle. So this doesn't say light code. There actually isn't a card in this deck. This is light code. This is the Pleiadian Oracle deck. This card says light language, but I immediately understood it as light code because light code is written in symbols. It is a language. Transmission. I'm like, why, yes, yes. You are giving me transmissions. Uh-huh. This one was cute. Sacred Union. I was like, "Aw, Ra, is that you and me?" Cosmic Unity, which one, okay, look at this picture. I know it's super shiny. Look at this like gorgeous design on this card. Okay, one, this is a light code. No doubt that is a light code. But Cosmic Unity, that was letting me know that this is not this offer is not going to be just about Raw. This is going to bring in people from the cosmic community. So I was like, all right. And then this card, taking chances, was basically like, I understand this feels a little out of your comfort zone. That's what opportunities are about. There probably aren't too many opportunities they're going to offer you where you're like, oh, yeah, that's it's easy. Of course, I'll take that. They always push you just like just one little step out of your comfort zone. Like for me, I'm like, you're moving my body a lot. And other people probably think this like looks weird. Not that I'm like doing it in front of people, but for my family members. Um, so it messes with your ego a little bit, right? Because that's really who we're all battling in our incarnations. We're all battling probably a couple things, but number one, just our own minds, our own egos, our own fears of, do we look okay? Do we sound okay? What are other people gonna think? Like these kinds of thoughts. So this is something that you will need to address, you will need to overcome in some way, to some extent, in order to go from being presented an opportunity to actually stepping forward and taking the opportunity. It's not that you have to be comfortable with it to take the opportunity. That's not it. It's that you're okay choosing something for your soul, even if it irritates your ego a little bit. Because the ego's like, oh, it's change, that's different. That might have repercussions. Are you sure you want to do that? So the ego's a little agitated, and it's being okay with the fact that your mind is going to try to talk you out of it a little bit and kind of moving the mind to the side a little bit so that the soul can do what the soul wants to do and take the opportunity. So that was the first set of cards. Then he started getting interesting. So these 4 cards that he gave me are the 4. I guess I need to ask about that. Um, the 4 cards he gave me are the 4 groups. That's weird. Are the 4 groups other than himself that he was offering to me to channel light codes through. Because at this point, I'd only interacted with Raw, but he's like, hey, just so you know, there are a couple other groups that can do this too. I believe this is pronounced Maya. I don't know entirely, gotta be honest. This is one of the 7 Pleiades planets. I have to check with him on some things. That's what that was. So he's saying, so all 7 of the Pleiades planets are able to create light codes. And so this is a big deal, by the way. So I'm not creating light codes. I know how to transmit these light codes. Well, now I do, but we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm transmitting the light codes. Raw or creator is the one making these light codes. So there are other groups who can do this too. Most groups cannot do this. This is a big deal. Light codes are the language of creation. Light codes are the building blocks of everything that exists. When creator builds a world, creates light, creates dark, creates anything, it's light codes that do it. So the light codes, how he shows it to me, is playing music. He's conducting music is how he shows it to me. So music and light are the language of creation. So these light codes are instructions for how to build something. And that's kind of like just the big sweeping term. So you can do a light code and build a planet. For people, typically, light codes, and I shouldn't say people, it's really light workers at this point. For light workers, if you receive a light code from something, the intention is almost always to activate something. So activating, is there anything other than active? He says no. It's always to activate. So you're activating a gift. Doesn't have to be a psychic gift. It could be like a subset of a gift. So, and what I mean by that is it's not necessarily you activating clairvoyance, being able to see. It might be something like, I don't know, give me a good example, Raw. It might be something more like you are activating your access, or your creator is activating your access to the Akashic records. So it's a different set of things. It's hyper specific. It's not broad and sweeping. It's I just gave you the code to this particular thing. Light codes can also activate knowledge or understanding. Light codes can activate a life pathway. So some light workers have, and this is hard to explain, and I don't know that I fully understand it yet, but some light workers have a soul mission. that's like laying dormant in them. And the light code that they need wakes it up, turns it on in order for them to carry down that pathway if they so choose. Everyone still has free will. So those are some of the things that light codes can do. They can obviously do way more than that. This is the overly simplified explanation because there's no way our 3D minds can understand the depth and complexity of how God creates. So this is just like the simplest understanding for all of us to be able to get it. So he's telling me, hey, if you want to work with the Pleiadians, is it specifically this planet you want me to work? Yeah. Okay, so this is an option. I can channel the my who knows how to say this? Somebody pronounce this to me in the comments. Maya, Maya, I don't know. Okay, so that was one of my choices. Another one of my choices. All right, don't pay attention to the words. Look, who's that? It's one of my blue whale buddies. Actually, that might be a humpback whale. I don't know. Anyways, it reminded me of the blue whales. So, of course, this is an offer to channel the Whale Collective, who I still have a soul contract with. I'm still supposed to do some singing bowls. It's going to happen eventually. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it. I'm just not doing it right now. But super cool that they are reaching out again to work with me. So I'm actually really happy about that. So I'll, I'll be saying yes to both of these, by the way. So an unexpected group that reached out, the dolphins. Like, the only thing I know about dolphins are I had that one lifetime on Sirius B, the water planet, where I had like the two dolphins that were like playing with me, like they were my friends. But I know nothing about them. Zero. So, kind of cool. Okay, so those are three. And then I don't know that I properly clarified this with him, so I need to. So Star Family. So he's referencing another galactic group. Who is this? Because I'm looking up, so this is raw. Who is this? Pleiadians. No. He's like winking my left eye over here as my no, since this is my no side. Is this one of the main groups? Who else can do it? Mantids. Now I have to like just guess. Are you gonna show me? Orion? No. Um, by the way, I was talking to him today. I don't know, but raw. I was talking to him today, and I was like eating pizza, and so I was asking him, "Hey, is Earth the first planet to have pizza? Like, did we create pizza?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, who created pizza?" And he showed me Rigel, which is one of the Orion planets, and I was like, so I was really impressed. And I was like, "It looks the same. Like it's like very similar." And he's like, "Yeah." Anyways, so that was my pizza story. So what group is this? Arcturians, Nakarians, someone from Andromeda. You've been holding out. Who is it? Is it someone from? Okay, there are two constellations that I vaguely know about in Andromeda, and one of them is Alana, and one of them is Cascarel, and I will talk about those in a different video. Okay, is it from? They're not from they're from Cascarel. Has to be Biblio. I have so many feels right now. This is Leo giving me energy. Okay, so it's the planet is Vivlio, which is like the only planet I know um, for that constellation. And um Leo is not even from that planet. What? You're gonna be the one from that planet. Leo is from one of the Alana constellation, which is Andromeda galaxy. He's from one of those planets. It's called Anon. I haven't talked to you guys about it yet because I don't know enough about it yet. But Leo's soul, who's Archangel Michael, showed up for me when I had a vision of Vivlio. I did a video on it recently. It was the video where I got my black Pegasus. Totally looked like this, not gonna lie. Um, okay, so Leo is gonna okay, so Leo's gonna be working. Okay, times. So let me talk to Raw for a second here because I need to make sure I understand this correctly. Can the planet Vivlio, they are the ones that know how to make light codes. And the only reason Leo's going to work with me is because he's had lifetimes there. And so during those lifetimes, he must have learned about it somehow. Okay. All right. Star family. Jeez Louise. Okay. So this was my offer. I swear we're going to keep on track with this conversation. Okay. So that's what Raw offered me. So now I have to decide. So I get to say yes or no. So I've lost my damn mind because I'm gonna just do this for you guys. Whenever I say I'm gonna do something and there's a video on it, I feel like there's like recorded evidence. It like adds this pressure of, well, are you gonna do the singing bowls for the whale collective or not? Because you said it on the video. So, for the record, yes. Yes to the whales. Yes to the Pleiades. Yes to the dolphins. Yes to Vivlio. So that's interesting. So at this time, I have not had any interaction with these four groups. Um, but after I pulled these cards, I told Raw yes. And so he has been working with me ever since. I haven't called in any of those other groups yet. So everything I've done has been based with Raw. And now I'm realizing I need to work with those other groups right away. Okay, anyways. So I like to say yes to everything, but if it sounds boring, say no. Don't waste your time on anything where you're like, well, I should. That seems like a really good offer. Other people would be really interested in that. Don't do that. It sounds amazing. Or if you're curious about it, like me, to be really honest, whales, excited for. Dolphins, curious because I don't know enough about them. So I'm curious. I'm like, this might be an amazing connection. Or I might be like, it's all right. Have to try it to find out. So that's my thinking. Okay. Step 4, make a plan. So this is kind of the tricky part because how do you make a plan on how to do something you don't know how to do? That other people don't know how to do. That there's not websites out there saying, "Hey, do you want to learn how to do this? Let me show you how to do." Like, this is what we're going to be doing. We are light workers on Earth during a time when there are no roadmaps. We have to build the roads. We have to blaze the trails. We have to be the ones to get really uncomfortable and figure things out. And it's not that hard because you have all these guides who want you to figure it out. They want you to do this. And there's not one way to do anything. So it's not like you do it and they're like, oh, that's totally wrong. It's not going to work. You do it your way and then they're like, okay, let's try this adjustment. How about this? Do you feel comfortable if we do it this way? And they help you until you fine tune things. So my thoughts were, okay, how am I going to get transmissions from these groups? Like, how am I going to do this? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to set aside time, just going to be conscious about it. Every day, I'm gonna do my healings for my family for a little bit and healings for myself, and I'm gonna call in Ra, and I'm gonna let Ra do what he wants. I'm gonna be open and relaxed and let him try out things, and if it feels uncomfortable, I'm gonna still go with it. I have one dog and one fluffy Oliver kitty in here right now. Oliver, hey, uh, buddy, come here. Yes, look, purring. He's so handsome. He's trying to escape the dog because the dog loves him. I mean, who wouldn't love him? He's so fluffy. Can you lay still, you think, right here and not chew my cords? Lay down. Good. Honestly, my cat is like a dog. Lay down, Rocket. My dog is up here too. And my dog is like a cat. They're little babies. Oliver, lay down. Lay down, lay down, lay down. Good. Good boy. Okay. So I'm thinking I'm gonna set aside time. I'm gonna be receptive to the unknown. I'm going to just kind of see how it comes in because I didn't know if once I accepted this, if things would start coming in differently. Like at that point, I had already heard music and I'd already seen things, but I don't know if he was just going to switch it up, if he was going to make it more intense, or if he was going to switch it like all over to music or all over to sound, or oh, I guess it's the same thing, all over to sound, all over to visuals. So I was just kind of open to what was going to happen. So you have to have that flexibility when you're doing something new. It's kind of be like, okay, I don't know how it's going to come. I'm not going to be assuming it's going to come a certain way. I'm just going to observe. See, document everything in my notes. And then I'm going to try, this is my plan. I'm going to try different ways to emit the light codes because it feels like there will be choices. It feels like if I was resistant to how he was choosing to transmit them. Like if I was like, you know what? I really want to do this, but I really can't stand it that you're moving my hands. Can we do this a different way? And he's saying right now, he would come up with another option for me. It's not like you're like, oh, I don't want to do it your way. And he goes, oh, well, then you don't get to do it. That's not God. That is not God. God is like, yes, there are infinite choices. Yes, he wants to work with you. Same with all your guides. Infinite choices. They always want to help. Um, so you just kind of focus on what's the most fun for you because that's going to keep your vibration higher. Or if you're like me and you're like endlessly curious, I'm just like, that's okay. Do the weird thing because I'm just kind of curious. Just like they seriously program my soul this way. Like it feels like I'm broken, but I know that it serves a purpose to be this curious about everything. So part of this process of learning something that you don't know how to do, that there's no manual for, is like trial and error, experimentation, being willing to be uncomfortable, being willing to feel like you're doing it wrong, to feel like you have no idea what you're doing because it's the truth, right? But you have to feel like you have no idea what you're doing in order to get to the place where you have experience, where you've learned it, where you know exactly what you're doing. You have to start over here where you know nothing and you're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. You have to start there. You have to be comfortable being there. So, this is called a journey for a reason, and you are in control of your own journey. You are in control of more coming your way. So, if you want more in your life, ask for more. So, I wrote this for you guys like a week ago. Not gonna lie. I wrote this for you guys a week ago. Since then, things have continued to develop. Um, so since then, I was like, so I continued to work with Raw, and he was starting to channel to me information about light codes. So I was like, okay. So I wrote a little bit down, and then one night I was trying to go to sleep, and he gave me this huge download on light codes. And then he's telling me to pull some of it up. Do I even have that in here? Got this huge download on light codes. So I write it all down in, of course, my phone, and I go to bed. And so remember how I said when I channel, it's like in that dream state. So you know how you dream all night long, or maybe you're supposed to dream a lot, and then you wake up and you don't remember anything, right? Well, I didn't remember channeling what I channeled. So another couple days went by before I remembered that I had channeled something. And then when I go to read it, I'm like, whoa, this info it's like the funniest thing. Like, this is new. This is great information. I've never heard of this before. Don't remember a thing. Okay. Where is this Metatron? Got past lifetimes in here. Got all kinds of stuff. That is not what I need. Okay, where is this? It is in here, isn't it? My apologies for not being more organized. Um, is it up here? The other problem is that when I write my notes, and this is my problem, sometimes I go back to the bottom, like I go to the bottom of my notes and I'll add on there. And other times I'm like, no, that's going to take too long. There's a bunch of stuff there already. And I write at the top. And so nothing's in chronological order. It's very like symbolic of my mind. Nothing's in order. Um, that's something else. Haha, I found it. And I talked about most of this already, but I'm just going to read it to you just in case, because I think I missed some stuff. Light codes are the building blocks of all creation. Light codes are essentially music. The music is a set of instructions, as if each music note is a letter of the alphabet spelling out what to make. It has a color based on how the note is played, not based on the note itself. When I build a crystal grid, I am creating a light code in reverse. So think about this. Oh, he's giving me new information right now. Don't do this when I'm like on a video. This is going to make a really long video. Okay, this is crazy. So remember how I was telling you, like making light codes are freaking special, right? Because he's showing me not that many groups do it. He's like, well, humans can do it. We just don't realize we can do it because he just told me when I build a light code, when I build a crystal grid, I'm building a light code in reverse. So remember, humanity, there's all that DNA. That's all the finest DNA of these groups. We have Andromedan DNA. Anyways, okay. When I build a crystal grid, I am creating a light code in reverse. There are colors and shapes and textures in the crystal grids. And in the higher dimensions, it is translated into a light code only. There is no physical form. So remember that, because remember how we're always talking about, okay, your thoughts matter. How you think matters because that's how you manifest things. And so even though you're like, say you're saying something good, you're like, I am complete and I am happy and I am healthy and whatever if you're doing like one of those affirmations. So you're saying it, and even though you're not seeing it here on earth because we're in 3D and it takes a while to manifest things in 3D, not gonna lie, you are instantly manifesting things somewhere else. And what he's saying is that somewhere else, what is it? Is it above 7D? Because In 7D, bodies are optional. In 7D, that's the Andromedan galaxy. Above 7D, no bodies, nothing physical. Everything is light. Everything is color. Everything is sound. There's nothing else. And so he's saying that at that level, it's kind of like if you picked up a human and you pull them up to like 8D, their body would disappear. They would just be light. Okay. Ideas are light codes. They are written in the same language. Thoughts and intentions are light codes. We just talked about this, but thoughts and intentions are light codes, but are somewhat weaker than the ones formed with divine. God is exact and playful when he creates this music. This is his language. God created everything by creating music for each thing. The music is the light code. In addition to light codes, there are dark codes. Dark codes are instructions to build something at a low vibration. So this makes sense. There has to be, if you have a light code, you have to have a dark code. There has to be yin and yang. We're on Earth. We came for the duality. Of course, we came to go beyond the duality, but duality is a thing here. So dark codes are instructions to build something at a low vibration. This is how people get galactic parasites, or sometimes it's how they get demonic attachments. So if they listen to something, it could be music, I'm not gonna lie. It's possible for you to listen to music. I'm trying to be so careful because I don't want, the last thing I want to do is make any of you scared to listen to music. That's the last thing I want to do because music, 99% of the time, is the most beautiful and healing and wonderful thing you can listen to. It is possible for you to listen to something that makes you feel kind of icky. So it would be that you would know. It would feel not right. It would feel low vibrational to you. You can listen to something, you can watch something that has a low vibration, movie, TV show, news. And coded within that music or media are instructions to build something that is not in your best interests. So this is just basically dark energy trying to mimic what the light energy does, but to their benefit. The humans, that's so I'm just going to read what I have. The humans that speak or play or create these dark codes. So like the musical artist that writes the song or sings the song that has the dark code in it, or they write the book or whatever that has the dark code in it, they are channeling a low vibrational energy. So it's just like I channel Ra creates the light code, I transmit it. It's the same concept. The human is transmitting something that an energy outside of them has created. There are different kinds of light codes. Angelic light codes, which, I gotta be honest, why wasn't I offered angelic light codes? I'm kind of interested in that. So hopefully that's an option later. Okay, so angelic light codes, Pleiadian light codes from Creator. So I was surprised that they didn't give me anyone else at this time that this was channeled. Um, but we just found out about Andromedans. So it's possible that there are more groups beyond this as well. I only know as much as I know at any given time. It's not like they give me the entire playbook whenever I'm doing something. They give me what they want me to know right now. And if they want me to know more later, I'll find out more later. Okay, so that's what I channeled. So this was a week ago, right? That I wrote that thing for you guys, that I like channeled this. So it took me a couple days to remember that I channeled about it. And what ended up happening was Rob gave me instructions essentially. He gave me all the pieces I needed in order to set up a new service. So there is a new service now on my website, orangelightenergy.com. It's called Lightcode Transmission. So if you are interested in having creator, because that's the only one I'm working with right now, potentially I'll be adding these other groups if it ends up feeling right to me. But at this time, it's only Raw or Creator that I work with. He creates the light code, I transmit it. It's a process where this is being sent to someone remotely. It's the same concept as sending healing remotely to somebody. It's energy at the end of the day that's being transmitted over. It's a custom light code. It's not like I'm sending the same light code to every person. Ra creates exactly what he wants you to have. I transmit that over, and then I'm going to, for each client, talk to a creator about it and try to get information like, what is this light code for? What did we send over? And I'm going to also share with you any visuals that I get on it or any audio that I get on it as far as like you know, what it sounded like. And so essentially, there's a lot of things that these light codes could be used for, and it's going to be up to Ra's discretion. But light codes, like we talked about in the beginning, they can be used to activate really specialized gifts. They can be used to activate knowledge. They can be used to activate a, a life path. So there are other things they can do. And if you're someone who ends up getting a light code that does something different than one of these three, then it'll be cool because it'll be a learning experience for me. But this is a service that I'm now offering. So if it's something you're interested, it's on the website. I'll include it in the description so you can take a look. And this is everything that I have for you today on light codes and dark codes. Don't be too spooked about the dark codes. In fact, don't be spooked at all about the dark codes because as annoying as they are to us, as annoying as it is to have like a galactic parasite or demonic attachment, these are also easily remedied. Um, and there's so much, like, I wish you could see the energy because when I'm looking at the dark codes, yeah, they're dark, but there's like a medium strength to them, not that powerful. When I look at what Ra writes, what he creates, it has so much permanency in what he does. He knows what he's doing. They kind of don't know what they're doing. So their creation's a little flimsier. It's like they're using like toothpicks to build their house, you know? So, okay. That's everything I have for you guys today. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.